Cursed objects have haunted the human imagination for centuries. From ancient artifacts to modern heirlooms, these items are believed to harbor malevolent forces, wreaking havoc on those unfortunate enough to possess them. In this video, we'll uncover the eerie tales behind some of the most infamous cursed objects in history, folklore, and pop culture. Number 1. The Hope Diamond. One of the most famous and feared gemstones in the world, the Hope Diamond glows with a hypnotic steel blue hue. But beneath its beauty lies a dark legend. This 45.52 carat diamond, with origins in 17th century India, is said to have been stolen from a sacred statue of Sita, the goddess of beauty and devotion. The story goes that the gem was stolen again and passed through the hands of at least 3 others who all met bloody ends. Though there's no solid evidence of divine wrath, stories of a curse soon followed the gem's journey into the hands of royalty. Louis XIV, the Sun King, bought the stone from Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, a merchant who picked it up somewhere unknown and was later mauled by dogs. Louis had it recut into the Great Violet Diamond of His Majesty, a heart-shaped stone set in gold, but misfortune seemed to follow its trail. Nicolas Fouquet worked for the Sun King and was said to have worn the diamond for a special occasion before being banished from France. Nicolas was allowed to return by the king, but spent his life imprisoned. Some say he was the real Man in the Iron Mask. A pretty grim fate if true, but anyway. King Louis XVI inherited the French blue until he had his head lopped off in the French Revolution. So it was passed to wife Marie Antoinette, who met the same fate only 9 months later. Next we have Marie-Thérèse Louise of Savoy, Princesse de Lamballe, murdered by a crowd. Wilhelm Fals, a Dutch jeweler, killed by his son who then killed himself. Simon Mankarides, a Greek merchant, drove his car off a cliff, killing himself, his wife and child. Evelyn Walsh McLean, rich heiress, met a series of ill fortunes including death of her mother-in-law, her 9-year-old son. Her husband left and died in a mental hospital. Her daughter died of a drug overdose, and Evelyn got herself into massive debt. When she died, her surviving kids sold the diamond to Harry Winston, who came away unscathed, as he swiftly posted the diamond to the Smithsonian Museum as a donation. Unfortunately, the mailman who delivered the diamond had his leg crushed by a truck shortly after, then suffered a head injury, then his house burned down. There are other stories of shipwrecks, bankruptcies, and incredible misfortune, all associated with this diamond. Number 2. The Crying Boy paintings. In the 1980s, homes across the UK were consumed by flames. Oddly, in the charred remains, one object always survived, an innocent-looking portrait of a crying boy. These mass-produced paintings by Spanish artist Giovanni Broglin, aka Bruno Amadio, became infamous when they were found unscathed amid the ruins of numerous house fires. Rumors spread quickly that these mournful images were cursed. Legends say that the paintings depict a sad orphan boy called Don Bonillo, who is crying because he just saw his parents die in a fire. Theories emerged, some pointing to supernatural forces or dark energy attached to the paintings, though investigators would later suggest the paintings' varnish made them fire-resistant. The public sphere took on a life of its own. In pop culture, cursed objects like these are a staple. In Velvet Buzzsaw, haunted artworks exact gruesome vengeance on those who dare to profit from them, a chilling echo of the crying boy's sinister reputation. Like the cursed videotape in The Ring, these paintings remind us that even the most innocent objects can hide malevolent secrets. Number 3. The Bell Witch's Curse. In early 19th century Tennessee, the Bell family faced an unseen terror. Their home had been cursed. An invisible force tormented them relentlessly, throwing objects, speaking in disembodied voices, and inflicting harm on the family. Some believed this was the work of the Bell Witch, the vengeful spirit of Kate Batts, who allegedly cursed the family over a land dispute. The haunting began around 1817, when John Bell encountered a strange creature resembling a dog with the head of a rabbit. He shot at it, but the animal vanished. John's son, Drew Bell, later saw a massive unfamiliar bird perched on a fence, which flew away. Meanwhile, Betsy Bell, the daughter, witnessed a girl in a green dress swinging from the branch of an oak tree. Dean, an enslaved man owned by the Bell family, reported being followed by a large black dog on evenings when he visited his wife. The strange activity soon shifted to the Bell home, where knocking sounds were heard on the doors and walls. The family experienced noises of gnawing at the bedposts, the sounds of invisible dogs fighting, and chains dragging across the floor. Around this time, John Bell began to suffer paralysis in his mouth. The supernatural disturbances grew more intense, with sheets being pulled off the children's beds while they slept. The entity began pulling hair and scratching the children, especially Betsy, who was slapped, pinched, and pricked with pins. Desperate, the Bells sought help from family friend James Johnston. After spending the night at the Bell home, Johnston woke to the same eerie phenomena. The next morning, he told John Bell that it was a spirit, just like in the Bible. The spirit gave various explanations for its presence, including that it had been unsettled by the disturbance of a Native American burial mound on the property. The Bell Witch legend is shrouded in mystery and fear, with claims that the spirit even caused the death of John Bell, the family patriarch. Though history provides no concrete proof of the curse, the tale endures as one of America's most chilling ghost stories. This idea of a witch's curse has inspired countless stories, including the terrifying Blair Witch Project. The malevolent spirit haunting the Bell family is mirrored in modern horror, where curses linger long after the witch's death, much like in Sleepy Hollow, where the Headless Horseman enacts supernatural revenge on those who disturb his resting place. Number 4. The haunted mirror of Myrtle's Plantation. Myrtle's Plantation in Louisiana Grand Mansion sits heavy with dark history. The plantation is one of the most haunted locations in America, and among its many cursed objects is a mirror. According to legend, this mirror holds the spirits of those who met a tragic end within the house's walls, most notably Chloe, a slave who was said to have poisoned the family she served. Chloe was reportedly an enslaved woman owned by Clark and Sarah Woodruff. According to one version of the story, Clark forced Chloe into becoming his mistress, while other versions suggest she was caught eavesdropping on Clark's business dealings through keyholes. After being discovered either by Clark or Sarah, Chloe had one of her ears cut off as punishment, which she hid beneath a green turban. Chloe allegedly baked a cake for one of the Woodruff daughters, laced with extract from poisonous oleander leaves. Some say she sought revenge, while others believe she hoped to regain favor by later curing the family from the poison. Unfortunately, Sarah and the two daughters ate the cake, and all three died as a result. Chloe's plan failed, and she was hanged by the other enslaved people before being thrown into the Mississippi River, either as retribution or to avoid further punishment from Clark Woodruff. Chloe's spirit, trapped within the mirror, is believed to manifest through ghostly handprints and eerie reflections that appear to move on their own. The idea that mirrors can trap souls or serve as portals to other worlds is deeply embedded in folklore. We see this concept in films like Oculus, where a cursed mirror manipulates reality and drives its owners to madness. In Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the mirror of Erised similarly ensnares those who gaze too long into its depths. Could the Myrtle's mirror be more than just a reflection of history's tragedies? Number 5. The enchanted dolls, though often innocent-looking, have long been considered vessels for darker forces. The enchanted doll is one such cursed object. Much like the infamous Annabelle, this doll is said to be possessed, capable of movement, and even speaking in whispers that send chills down the spine. Robert the doll was given to a young boy named Robert Eugene Otto by his family's maid in Key West, Florida, in 1906. It's believed that the maid practiced black magic and voodoo and, out of dissatisfaction, cursed the doll before gifting it to the family. Standing 40 inches tall and dressed in a sailor suit, the straw-stuffed doll is unsettling to most who see it. However, legend says that young Robert, who went by the name Jean, was immediately captivated by the doll and named it after himself. Jean took Robert everywhere with him, even bringing him to the family dinner table. At first, his parents found this behavior endearing, But soon, strange events began to unfold. According to haunted rooms, Jean's parents started hearing a deep, unfamiliar voice and eerie giggling coming from his bedroom. Then came the sound of footsteps running from room to room at night. The most disturbing moments came when Jean would scream in terror in the middle of the night. His parents would rush into his room, only to find him cowering under his blankets, with his belongings and furniture scattered around the room. Each time, Jean insisted Robert did it. These unexplained occurrences frightened the household staff, leading many to quit. Neighbors also reported seeing a strange boy inside the Otto home when the family was away, and they claimed the boy resembled Robert the doll, staring at them through the windows. Despite all the chaos, Jean refused to part with his beloved companion. When his parents passed away, Jean inherited the house and even gave Robert his own room. After Jean died in 1974, the doll was locked in a trunk and stored in the attic. However, a new family eventually moved in, and a 10-year-old girl found Robert. She too became attached to the doll, but soon the strange events returned. Robert was said to move furniture, destroy toys, and even tie a cord around the family dog's neck. The terrified family quickly banished Robert back to the attic, putting an end to his reign of terror. Today, Robert is on display at the Key West Museum, where visitors from around the world come to see him. Cursed dolls have made their way into horror folklore across many cultures. Some believe they carry spirits trapped by dark rituals, while others claim they are cursed by malevolent witches. This trope has taken on a life of its own in films like the Conjuring series, where Annabelle wreaks havoc, and in the Chucky series, where a doll becomes a conduit for a killer's soul. The enchanted doll joins the long lineage of cursed toys that seem to have a mind of their own and a sinister purpose. In witchcraft, objects are often seen as vessels of power, both for good and for ill. From charms and amulets to the more ominous cursed items, the idea that objects can hold energy, intentions, or even spirits is deeply embedded in magical practice. The infamous cursed objects we've discussed, such as the Hope Diamond, the Crying Boy paintings, and the Bell Witch's Curse, highlight humanity's ancient belief in the unseen forces that can be bound to physical things. Witches throughout history have been both the creators and undoers of these curses, using their connection to the natural and supernatural world to harness, manipulate, or cleanse energies. In modern witchcraft, we learn that objects, like crystals or talismans, can carry vibrations and intent, so it stands to reason that they might also hold curses or darker energies, as seen in folklore and pop culture. Take mirrors, for example. Many witches today use mirrors for scrying or protection, believing them to be portals between realms, similar to the haunted mirror of Myrtle's plantation. Likewise, dolls, often used in sympathetic magic, can be filled with a specific spirit or energy, much like the enchanted doll we explored. Ultimately, cursed objects remind us that all things, mundane or magical, can hold power. So, the next time you stumble upon a peculiar trinket or a family heirloom with a mysterious past, treat it with respect,